What happens when the President and First Lady of France decide that they have had enough of American shock politics? You get one of the most bizarre lawsuits in recent history, the Macrons versus Candace Owens. Candace Owens has built her career on provocation. She is not a journalist. She is not bound by facts or ethics. She's a commentator who thrives on outrage, clicks, and controversy. And recently, she crossed a line that the Macrons are no longer willing to ignore. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Antoinette Chanel, and welcome to my channel. Candace Owens launched an 8-part podcast series called Becoming Brigitte. In it, she pushed some really serious and wild conspiracy theories. She alleged that Brigitte Macron, or Brigitte Macron, I'm not sure how to say it properly, so if I'm mispronouncing it, that's not on purpose. But she alleged that the First Lady of France was a man. She alleged that the Macrons are tied to CIA experiments and mind control programs. She also made accusations about incest and fraud. She even went so far as to say that she would stake her entire professional reputation on these lies. So let's be clear here, this is not investigative journalism. This is gossip dressed up as hard truth. And it's designed for one purpose only: to shock, to enrage, and to make Owens even more famous. But this time, the attention didn't just get her clicks. It got her a lawsuit. In her own words, Candace claims that Donald Trump asked her to stop. According to her, President Macron reached out to Trump saying that his wife was visibly upset by these rumors. Trump, according to Candace, Trump told her that Brigitte looks like a woman, and so that was reason for her to back off. And in response to this, it seems like Candace had a meltdown on that show of hers. She was fuming that Trump did not come to her rescue or at least speak up in defense of her as these things were developing. And because she's built her career on defending him, this was like the ultimate betrayal for her, you know, leopards eating her face. But the Macrons were not relying on Trump for anything. They were building their legal case. And according to reports, they even hired a private investigator to dig into Candace before filing their lawsuit against her in the state of Delaware. So just to be clear for all of those who are watching so that you're keeping up, following along, the President and First Lady in France filed their lawsuit in Delaware. This wasn't a rash reaction. This was a planned legal strike. The Macrons' complaint spans 22 counts, includes defamation, false light, and more. And the Macrons are not just asking for a simple retraction. They are seeking compensatory and punitive damages. In other words, they want to get paid and they want a public reckoning. Lawsuits like this are not cheap. You have to consider translation costs, the cost to pay private investigators, the cost for international legal filings. You also have to hire a legal team that is well versed in high-level defamation proceedings like this. So this bill could easily reach hundreds of thousands of dollars before the first hearing even begins. And so that brings up the question of who is really equipped to fight the good fight and see this one out, however long it takes. Candace Owens' estimated net worth sits around $5 million, so those are the valuations based on her books, her speaking engagements, her podcast. That's what she's valued at. Brigitte Macron has a net worth that is estimated closer to $10 million, and this is made up of French assets, family inheritance, and property that she owns in France. And then there's Emmanuel Macron, whose net worth is estimated to be anywhere between $2 million and $50 million. But even if we decide to err on the conservative side, I would say that the Macrons have Candace beat at least twice over. This is not a fair fight financially. What started out as shock value for a podcast has now escalated into an international legal battle. The Macrons insist that they are protecting their dignity and standing up for the truth. Owens insists that she's speaking freely and refuses to back down. And I did see when I was researching this that the Macrons had initially thought, you know, we don't want to retaliate because then that's going to create something called the Streisand effect, which basically in trying to get somebody to back down and stop giving light to something, you just draw more attention to it. That was the initial fear that the Macrons had. But they decided to forego that and instead pursue this, I think because we are living in an age where the truth is being treated as optional by so many people. I think they probably figured their reputations are worth the risk and the truth will come out this way, and so they decided to go for it, which I can't really blame them for. So, will Candace Owens survive the fight of her career? Or will the Macrons end up making an example out of her? One thing I do know for certain is that when shock politics meets international law, the result is never boring. Those are my thoughts. Actually, I have one more thought, which is, let's just speculate here, this is hypothetical, but let's just say that Brigitte Macron is actually a man, you know, had transitioned, all of that. What difference is it going to make for Candace? Like, is her life going to be impacted in any way, positive or negative? I don't think so, but I've always just kind of wondered about that as I've observed this whole thing. What difference will it make for Candace if Brigitte Macron is a man? Always been curious. But I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below, please. I love hearing from you. Also, if you enjoyed this video, you liked it, and you want to, please give it a thumbs up. That way other people can find it and see it. If you liked this video and you want to see more of my content, consider hitting the subscribe button so that you can easily access my playlist, see all the videos that I have here on YouTube. And if you want to keep up with me on Instagram, you can follow me on the handle that's at the handle that's on your screen right now. Jeez. Thanks so much for joining me for yet another video, my friends. I will catch up with you in the next one. Take care.